what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? DemonDriver here, and in this video I'm going to show you how I hot wire the main wings to my 777-9X. Hot wired wing. The out here would be the foldable wingtip, but hot wired. And I'm going to show you how we do this, how I do this in this video. Alright, stick around, you're going to like this video. Hey, DemonDriver here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the airfoils that I'm going to use for the hot wire stencil for our 777Xs, the 9 and the 8. Right here we have the main inboard airfoil that I made by hand, cardboard hot wire stencil for the 777 9X and 8X. Now, this is the upper half of the airfoil, and this is the lower half. So I know I said to some people it is a modified Clark Y, and it is, but from the engine, the number 1 and 2 outboard, it is a Clark Y. But from the base of the wing root to the engine, it is a semi-symmetrical airfoil, basically a Clark Y with a secondary airfoil underneath. And the main reason for that is to give the scale look, but also to have the proper width or depth of the wing, and to also get more of a scale flight characteristic and flight dynamic for the for this 777X series. The bigger your RC airplane, the bigger you get towards the actual, obviously I'm never going to build a 250-foot long airliner, but as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, you want to get closer in scale with your airfoils. Now, the mid airfoil, see, we're cutting the wing into 2 bits. Here's the outer portion, and then there's the inner portion. Now, the outer portion, it will use this airfoil. This is a Clark Y. And then the very end airfoil is another Clark Y, even smaller. So the wing graduates, the hot wire goes down from that to that to that. On the first hot wire shot, we do the upper airfoil, and then I come along and do a separate lower airfoil, again, from the wing root out to the number 1 and 2 engines. Okay, I hope that made sense to you. Now I will show this stuff in practice, in action, and then you'll really see what's up. Okay. In getting ready to hot wire our wing for 777-9X and 8X, I get a heavy-duty board, a wooden board, to place the hot wiring piece down on to make sure it's all perfectly flat and straight. When you hot wire, you don't want to hot wire on a curved surface, because what's going to happen is the foam will curve to bend and adhere to the surface that is curved. So you don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that you have a flat surface. Then I take weights and I weight down the piece of foam that is to be hot wired. I take these weights and I weight down the piece of foam. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy stuff. Then the next thing I do is I come along and I get ready to place the hot wire stencils, like so, onto and beside the foam that's about to be hot wired, like so. And I take these little old paintbrush handled sticks, and I stick these through holes on the stencil and stick these jab them into the styrofoam to help them stick. And that's how I hold the stencil onto the foam. Just like that. There we go. That's on there. I may want to weigh this down a little bit more with more weight. That's one thing old power tool batteries are great for. You can weigh stuff down with them. The awkward camera movement. But here, let's take a look at the main. Here's the main hot wire stencil for the inboard portion of the wing. This is the inboard chunk here. Here's the fuselage. Here's the engine. I stop it there because it's such a big wing, I can't hot wire the whole thing in one shot. So I use the brush stems, and I stick them through the hot wire stencil, cardboard hot wire stencil, into the styrofoam. That holds them down. The weights hold the styrofoam and push it down. You don't want the styrofoam popping up and moving around as you hot wire. That'll screw everything up. Okay, here's our hot wiring wand. All hooked up, not on, obviously. This is the smaller large bow. Then I have a bigger one that I'm going to do the bigger portions with. Yeah. That sounds like a 787 flying around. You hear that sound? That's 787. Weirdest thing in the world. 787 when it flies around. At certain times of the day, at certain throttle settings, it sounds like a turboprop. There it is. Weird. Sounds like a Fairchild Swearinger Metro or something like that. Okay, this is important. Guys, hot wiring and burning plastic and foam, you always put a respirator on, okay? Put a respirator on, make sure it's tight, no leaks. Even if I'm doing it outside, I wear a respirator. Make sure it's not leaking. You don't want to breathe in plastic smoke, guys. You don't want it. Bad stuff. Okay. Turn this on. Hot wire is on. Let's give it a little test. Yep. Oh, crap, man. That's powerful. Alright, let me test the hot wire here for a second. I want to make sure it's not too hot. When I do this, I move the outer portion less and the inner portion more. I hope that makes sense to you. Alright, here we go. And I start about mid portion of the airfoil, and I slowly start to, I move the base portion of the airfoil of the hot wire more than I move the other portion. I basically try and keep that as still as possible. Now on this, I can move it basically straight back across the airfoil and bring it straight back. Trying to keep it level. There we go. Look at that. Ooh, yeah. Pull this piece away. Hey, look at that. I got a little bit of bouncing. I got a little bit of, yeah, look at that. I got a little bit of bumping right there. I got to clean that up. That has to be cleaned up. Okay, let's clean that up right there. I come in gently. Come in very gently. There we go. Just clean that little bit up. There we go. You're always going to get some, what I call stringing. You're always going to get a little bit of that. See, look at that smoke. See, that's dead. Dude, that's bad stuff. You don't want to breathe that in. You do not want to breathe that in, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is where the big bow comes in. This is the big hot wire bow. Now, for this application, for the leading edge, for that angle, I have to use the big one. But the small, I can't use the small one. So I go ahead and disconnect the small one and connect it into the big one, to the big boy. Angle. This is where it gets a little bit tricky, just a little bit, not too bad. I gotta move these in because I gotta have the foam head being held down because it wants to pop up. So what I do here is I come in on the angle. Do you see the angle I'm doing this with? I come in and I ride the hot wire stencil. And that's where, and there I'm running into a little bit of a problem with this outer peg. Right there, that peg is getting in my way. So I've got to get rid. There we go. Okay. You see, you can't have stuff get in the way of the wire. You understand what I just said? There we go. Power off. Alright. Take off the weight. Turn that off a little bit. You know what? I'm going to get rid of that right now. There's a little bit of a ridge right there. I'm going to get rid of it. I hate that because you can sand it out, but sometimes, man, it just pisses me off. I don't like it being there. Be careful with your fingers. There we go. Okay. All right. Mask off as we shut off the power to the bow. All right, let's pull out our little pegs from the stencil. There we go. And there we are. Look at that. There's our upper 777-9X airfoil. See that? And then we'll come back. I'll come back in with another piece of styrofoam for the lower portion. That's going to be down there. I'm going to come in with the lower portion like that, and that's going to give us a really high lift wing, and that's very important. The bigger your RC airplanes, the more lift you want. You want as much lift, really any aircraft, you want as much lift as you can get. Okay, and here is our upper and lower airfoils for the 777-9X Emirates, and all of them. You see, this is the wing root where it meets the fuselage. Here's our lower airfoil and our upper airfoil. So it's kind of semi-symmetrical, you see, out to right here where the engine will be. And then from here out, it's a Clark Y. You see? Just like the real thing. Very scale with the real plane. Okay? And there are our hot-wired 777-9X wings for our Emirates 777-9X. The outer foldable wingtips will be made from balsa, and it'll be hollowed out so they can have their LED lights and their folding mechanism and hinges put into place. All I gotta do is add the lower airfoil section from the wing root out to the number 1 and 2 engines, and then it's on to sanding and adding spackle, and then adding the balsa laminate to the outer surface, upper surface of the wings, and then the lower surface of the wings will have 1mm Depron. Okay, well, it's DemonDriver, and take care. Bye-bye.